You know, boys and girls, America's like a big, beautiful crayon box. Each crayon represents a different person, a different culture, a different story. And just like in a crayon box, every color is unique and important. So many colors, each one special. When we use all the colors together, we create something truly beautiful and vibrant. But imagine if some of those colors were taken away or not allowed to be used. But for a long time, not everyone got to use all the crayons. There were rules and laws that kept people apart based on the color of their skin. These rules were unfair and hurtful, and they made it hard for everyone to live together peacefully. The civil rights movement? That was all about making sure everyone had the same colorful opportunities. It was a time when brave people stood up and said, "We deserve to use all the crayons too." They marched, they protested, and they spoke out against the unfair rules. They wanted to make sure that everyone, no matter their skin color, could have the same chances in life. Imagine being told where you could eat, sit on a bus, or even go to school, all because of your skin color. It was a time when people were treated differently just because of how they looked, and that was not okay. Not cool, right? That was life for many African Americans before the civil rights movement. They faced many challenges and obstacles, but they never gave up hope. They deserved equality. But some folks weren't coloring inside the lines. They were breaking the rules of fairness and justice, and that needed to change. This movement wasn't about starting trouble. It was about fixing what was broken. It was about making sure that everyone could live together in harmony and respect. Brave people stood up and said, "Enough is enough." They wanted to create a world where everyone could be treated equally and with kindness. They faced down hate with love and ignorance with knowledge. They believed that by educating people and spreading love, they could change the world for the better. Think of it like this. They were adding the missing colors to America's picture, making it a masterpiece of equality. They were making sure that every crayon in the box could be used to create a beautiful and complete picture. And guess what? We're still coloring today. The fight for equal rights continues, and it's up to all of us to keep adding our colors to the picture. Together, we can create a world where everyone is treated with respect and kindness, no matter what. Now, this struggle for equality didn't just start overnight. It had been simmering for ages, like a pot of grandma's gumbo. Think back to slavery, segregation. Talk about a raw deal. Folks like Rosa Parks, she was tired of those back-of-the-bus rules. One day, she decided, nope, not moving. That simple act sparked a movement. It's like she dropped a microphone and said, "Your turn, America." Then you have Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a preacher with a dream and a powerful voice. He believed in peaceful protest, fighting hate with love. Talk about a superhero without a cape. Now imagine thousands of people walking for miles, not for exercise, but for their rights. These were ordinary people, just like you and me, who decided that enough was enough. They were tired of being treated unfairly and wanted to make their voices heard. They knew that by coming together, they could create a powerful force for change. The Montgomery Bus Boycott, the March on Washington, these were like giant "we mean business" parades. The Montgomery Bus Boycott started when Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus, sparking a movement that lasted over a year. People walked, carpooled, and found other ways to get around, showing their determination and resilience. The March on Washington, that's where Dr. King gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. Over 250,000 people gathered at the Lincoln Memorial to demand jobs and freedom. Dr. King's speech was a defining moment in the civil rights movement, inspiring millions with his vision of equality and justice. Powerful stuff. It was like he poured out his heart and soul, painting a picture of a better future for everyone. His words resonated deeply with those who were there and with countless others who heard his message through the media. But let's not forget, these protests weren't always peaceful. The activists faced immense opposition and danger. They were met with hostility and violence from those who wanted to maintain the status quo. Some folks fought back with fire hoses and police dogs. The images of police brutality shocked the nation and the world, highlighting the urgent need for change. Can you imagine that? It was a scary time, but these brave souls, they kept on marching. They faced fear and danger head-on, driven by their unwavering belief in justice and equality. They knew change was coming, even if it came slow. Their courage and determination laid the groundwork for the progress we see today. They showed us that when people stand together, they can make a difference, no matter how tough the journey may be. Section 4. Powerful words, powerful impact, speaking truth to power. Words are like seeds, boys and girls. Plant the right ones and watch them grow. Dr. King's speeches, Malcolm X's fiery calls for self-reliance, these words shook things up. They made people listen, made them think, made them uncomfortable. But sometimes you need a little shake-up to make real change, right? And it wasn't just speeches. Writers and thinkers joined the movement too. Books, poems, songs, they all told the story of the struggle, of the hope, of the dream. Section 5. Legal victories. The law finally catches up. All these protests, all these words, they weren't just for show. They were the voices of countless individuals demanding justice, equality, and the basic human rights that had been denied to them for far too long. These were not just fleeting moments of anger or frustration. They were powerful, sustained efforts to bring about real change. They pushed the government to make big changes. The relentless pressure from civil rights activists, the tireless work of community leaders, and the unwavering support from allies across the nation created a force that could not be ignored. This was a movement that demanded action, and it got results. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, that was a game changer. It was a monumental piece of legislation that marked a turning point in the fight for equality. This act was not just a legal document, it was a symbol of hope and progress for millions of Americans. It outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. This meant that for the first time people could not be legally denied opportunities or services simply because of who they were. It was a bold step towards creating a more just and inclusive society. Talk about a slam dunk for equality. The passage of this act was a moment of triumph, a validation of the struggles and sacrifices made by so many. It was a clear message that the fight for civil rights was making tangible progress. Then came the Voting Rights Act of 1965, another critical milestone in the journey towards equality. This act addressed one of the most fundamental rights in a democracy, the right to vote, which said everyone gets to vote, no matter what. It aimed to eliminate the barriers that had been systematically put in place to disenfranchise African Americans and other minority groups. This was a crucial step in ensuring that every citizen's voice could be heard. Remember, boys and girls, your voice matters. The right to vote is a powerful tool, a way to influence the direction of our country and make sure that our leaders are held accountable. It's a right that many fought hard to secure, and it's one that we must never take for granted. Voting is like using your superpower to shape the future. Each vote is a building block in the foundation of our democracy, and together, they create the structure of our society. By voting, we have the power to bring about change and ensure that our government reflects the will of the people. These laws were huge victories, monumental achievements that represented the culmination of years of struggle and perseverance. They were a testament to the power of collective action and the importance of standing up for what is right. But the fight wasn't over. While these legislative victories were significant, they were not the end of the journey. The struggle for civil rights continued, as activists worked to address ongoing issues and ensure that the promises of these laws were fully realized. It's like baking a cake. You need all the ingredients to rise to the occasion. Just as a cake requires the right mix of ingredients to come together perfectly, the fight for equality requires a combination of laws, education, and cultural change. Changing laws was just one part of the recipe. Changing hearts and minds, that was and still is the real challenge. It's about creating a society where everyone is truly treated with respect and dignity, regardless of their background. That's the real challenge, and it's something we're still working on today. The journey towards equality is ongoing, and it requires the efforts of each and every one of us. By continuing to advocate for justice and stand up against discrimination, we can help build a better future for all. Section 6. The movement's legacy, still fighting the good fight. The civil rights movement wasn't just a moment in history, it's a journey we're still on. It's like learning to ride a bike. You might fall a few times, but you keep pedaling towards a better tomorrow. We still see inequality today, but the movement taught us to speak up, to fight for what's right, to never give up. It's like a relay race, passing the torch of justice from one generation to the next. Section 7. Conclusion. Keeping the dream alive. The civil rights movement reminds us that even small voices can make a big difference. It's like that saying, it takes a village. Well, it takes all of us working together to build a world where everyone is treated with respect and dignity. So the next time you see someone being treated unfairly, remember the heroes of the civil rights movement. Find your voice, stand up for what's right, and help keep that dream alive. Because remember, boys and girls, a world full of color is a beautiful thing.